I'm pretty good at what I do. They told me that in the UK. It was acknowledged in Ireland, and the same occurred in the state of California. I've had a few clients go through my hands in the state of Georgia, where the doctors, the PCPs, they referred the nurses to me who had been on psychotropic medication, all for the wrong reasons since ages 7, 8, 9. They were in their 20s, they were in their 30s. Now they are drug-free. Veterans came to me, they cried, gave me a hug, left. Thank you for giving us our freedom. Thank you for giving us back our integrity, and much more. I'm very proud of the changes that were brought to legislation, especially in Ireland, through my recommendations with the third program of Law Reform Commission. It was acknowledged, it's on record, and the ones who cannot read or write, they can see it on video. I have copies, you can have them. Some wonderful moments, especially simple compliments from people I hold in high regard, like Justice Catherine McGuinness or Judge Kirby. USA is a different kettle of fish. It's neither a kettle nor a fish. God knows what the hell it is, because I'll be damned if I know what it is. Coming to America was a dream. For 100 years and more, that's what was proclaimed. The new banner, the new wish, the new dream, leaving America. Still haven't figured it out? Proclamations and evidence seldom agree with true reflection. I had the privilege of meeting two gentlemen who reminded me of what it is that I do and why I'm passionate about what I do. I met Paul, I'm going to call him Paul, it's a pseudonym, in ICU at San Leandro Hospital in Bay Area, San Francisco, where I was working as a triple diagnosis, mental health, rehab specialist, blah, blah, blah. And a gentleman called Henry Sinkfield from Sonoy in the state of Georgia, Coweta County, Georgia. He helped me remove a lot of trees from a backyard for next to nothing in cost. And not many better workers I have met in my life than Mr. Sinkfield. Both gentlemen were in their late 70s. Paul is a veteran of Vietnam War and lost a leg, while also losing faith in the US propaganda machine. And Henry is a master craftsman with a bobcat and capable of dropping a 100-foot tree on a dime. You have to see him in action, and a proud man at that. My meeting with Paul was rather farcical, rather than comical. I have never seen a one-legged person move at such blistering speed. He was chasing a male nurse around the ICU who had been disrespectful and had made derogatory remarks. And no one would dare go near Paul. When I inquired from the staff nurse, I was informed that the rotting flesh on his leg stank, and no one would go near him. One, because of his aggression, and secondly, he would not let anybody clean the stinking wound. I volunteered. I said, let me speak with him. Help yourself. This is ICU, San Leandro Hospital, Bay Area, San Leandro. Still remember it vividly. A multiple of hands offered me masks, but I chose to make contact with Paul face to face, despite all the verbal abuse on offer. All the time he looked me straight in the eye, and then he became calm and allowed me to help him wash and clean his wound. Thereafter, staff were allowed to offer medical assistance and intervention, which was intense. Since the war and since being released from the military, Paul had been self-medicating, like a lot of his friends and comrades, on PCP, LCD, mushrooms, and anything prescribed or he could lay his hands on, and he was homeless. This was Friday evening, circa 9:30 p.m. He was taken to the second floor, but asked for me to stay a few minutes and talk with him. I obliged and left at 5 a.m. the next morning. On Saturday, he self-discharged, and the staff called me to visit upon his request. I was there in less than 10 minutes, expecting the worst. There was Paul in blue blazer and grey pants, with white shirt and tie, with one shiny black shoe on. The other leg of his trousers was neatly pinned to the knee. He stood up from his bed and saluted. I was taken aback, but reciprocated. He told me he was ready to get on with his life and regained his self-respect with a tear in his eye. There was nothing more to be said, and we parted ways with a firm handshake. Henry is a proud black man, and I am honored to have met him. He never finished high school, but after the job was finished, he would come and visit, mostly at my request. Impeccably dressed, he volunteered that he wished to speak with me if I had time. For Henry, I always have and will have time. He told me stories which he had never disclosed before, especially when his wife tried to burn the house down while he was inside, sound asleep. The reason I laughed? Because he laughed when he was telling the story. But most of all, he wished to share his experiences as a child and true segregation and apartheid of the good old South. He's born and bred Sonoy, and as a teenager, often found himself being pistol whipped by the sheriff's men for the most minor of transgressions. According to him, at when age 10 or 11, he was a skinny little guy, full of mischief, but never caused no harm. Our favorite story to share was when he would be all trussed up and the local judge would happen to pass by and exchange greetings with the deputies. And after tipping his hat, would remind them to not miss the church on Sunday. A smile and a wave would bring the matter to an end. Henry and his comrades were invisible. How can I not understand how the innocent were lynched while all stood by or carried on with life as if nothing had happened? It seems not much has changed in the South. Lynching is still very much in existence. New ways have been devised and it is practiced in different ways. Especially the legal industry. And the executive is knee-deep in it, while the DOJ sits next door and all is hunky-dory. They've done their job. They made the proclamation. Georgia is one of the most corrupt executives in the country. Now there you go. On your bike. We've done our job. Some supervision. It is a privilege to be a US citizen, so said President Trump. Let us see what he has to say after he absent-mindedly bends down to pick a bar of soap while being incarcerated. I don't need any privileges. All I need is a chance to work. I worked all my life. And I like my honest living. No handouts, never taken any. But this wonderful state of Georgia and the US of A, they won't let me work. Oh, there are many other stories to share, and I will share with you. For now, let's call these podcasts High Noon, and all I claim shall be evidence as we move along. All allegations are open to due process, and I hope and wish that all and sundry would start legal proceedings against me as soon as this series of podcasts is aired. Please clear your ears, charge up your hearing aids, and keep a bottle of sedatives nearby. I shall be most grateful. And I've only just begun. I promise you that. There is much to follow. So thank you for listening to me and watching me. And if you don't like my face, please throw a blanket over the screen. Or please do listen. I'll be grateful. And hopefully, generations to follow, they may have an easier life than what I have had. So thank you for now.